Doing a kind act. The Imam is...
Reflect yourself every night.
Reflect, muraqabah, muhasabah. So these are all the things that are good, and we've heard this in riwayat, we've heard this in the ayat, we've heard this from the ulama of akhlaq. They tell us to do particular things to cleanse our heart. Read Surah Yasin, it is the qalb of the Quran, because it will remove vice from your heart. How vinegar removes impurities. So you have all these riwayat, but this riwayah in particular, it's a very small act, a very basic act. The Imam ﷺ is inviting her towards. He says, do this so that it cleanses your heart, and it's a social hadith. If I was to take the hadith and then classify them or categorize them into different categories, so you have, oh, this hadith is in particular to Tawheed. This hadith is talking about the adl of Allah. This is talking about the imam of the imam. This hadith is talking about qiyam or ma'ad. This hadith would be in a chapter called when you have social interactions with people. How do you behave with people? You know what the Imam ﷺ says without taking much of your time? He says, تَصَافَحُوا فَإِنَّهَا تُذْهِبُ السَّخِيفَةَ. He says, shake people's hands. Shaking the hands of people removes animosity from your heart. Simple act. Shake someone's hand, and the Imam says it will remove the distance. It will remove the animosity. It will remove the misunderstanding. It will remove the hatred from your heart. Why? Because in continuation, hate, distrust, not having love or compassion or a lack of empathy does not belong in the heart of the mu'min. Please rest salawat Muhammad. Tasafahu. Al-musafaha. Musafaha comes from the word safha, where safha is a plain sheet of paper. Safha is something plain. When you place your hand over someone else's hand and you shake his hand, this is called a musafaha. The Imam says, shake hands. Shake hands so it removes animosity. Shake hands so it cleans your heart. Shake hands so it brings your heart closer. Because a moment's heart is no place for hatred. A moment's heart is no place for a grudge. A moment's heart is no place for harboring hate towards anyone. The same Imam tells you, Al-qalbu haramullah. The heart of the moment is Allah's haram. The heart of the mu'min is Allah's haram. لا تسكن في حرم الله غير الله. Do not place, do not house in the haram of Allah anyone that is not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No idols, nothing of this world, nothing tangible. Only Allah deserves to live in this haram. Only Allah deserves to be present within His haram. Harboring hatred, harboring animosity, harboring misunderstanding towards people. The Imam says, and this is a simple ilaj. This is a simple example, there's a simple formula. Shaitan is very ready, and shaitan is waiting to fool people. And I'm here talking to my younger brothers. The elders have heard this many, many times. Shaitan is not sitting outside a center of guna or a center of sin. Shaitan is not where clubs and bars are. Shaitan is not wasting his time there. Those people are already doing what he wants them to do. Shaitan will find you in places of worship. Shaitan will find you in places where you intend to do good. Someone who sleeps through the night, sleeps through salat times, someone who does not fast, and someone who does not follow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Shaitan has no work with him. He's already doing the work. Shaitan will use his expertise, he will use his time, he will use his resources to bring people away from the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wherever, and people ask sometimes, Sayyid, in Fulan place there's a lot of sin happening when it's the house of God. Why is that the case? Or Fulan place is supposed to be so religious, or that person is supposed to be so religious, and we find out that, it's very corrupt and there's a lot of problems and issues there. There's also Shaitan, he's also doing some work. He's also busy working. Wherever people make the intention of doing something sincerely for the Rahman, know that Shaitan will come and attack. Do not be fooled or do not feel protected. The only people protected from Shaitan are the 14 Ma'asumin and those living with the Ma'asumin. Bibi Zainab Salamullah alayha, Abu al-Fadl Abbad bin Ma'asum Salamullah alayha, and people of that stature. everybody else then is susceptible to what shaitan has, his ploys and his tricks. So whenever you feel, if you know someone is a lover of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you know someone is a believer in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you know someone is sincere towards the household of the Prophet and the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa alihi, he is susceptible. He is susceptible to make mistakes. He will make mistakes. He will make mistakes in his private life. He will make mistakes in public life. Sometimes his greed will overcome him. Sometimes his shahwa will overcome him. Sometimes his anger will overcome him. He's a human being.
Yeah.
Do not keep the lover of the Amir al-Mu'minin at the standard of Amir al-Mu'minin. It cannot happen. It cannot happen. If the Imam has allowed someone to sit in his presence, who are myself and yourself to ask them to leave? If the Imam has allowed someone to enter this place, by anybody walking in this place, anybody walking into this Husayniyah, for instance, I'm using this as an example. I'm not saying this happens here, I haven't seen this happen here, but other places I've heard of. Anybody who does anything is not outside the realm of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What did you recite in Dua Kumail right now? La yumkin al-fararu min hukumati. There's no escaping the realm and dominion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah controls all factors. Allah controls all elements. Allah controls what you call luck and fluke or accident, ittifaq. There's no such thing in theology like that. Everything is calculated, everything is happening based on a calculation. If you're somewhere you're meant to be there, fa'tabiru. So take lesson from that place. Nothing happens because of pure coincidence. There's a plan and there's a place for everything. Make i'tibar. So now if somebody is to come here because he loves the Ahlul Bayt, but because of the mindset of the lovers of the Ahlul Bayt, that he decides to leave this place because the people were not friendly. Again, I'm not talking about this place because I haven't heard about situations arise, but other places is the case. A man wholeheartedly becomes Muslim, then wholeheartedly chooses to become Shia, and then once he meets the Shias, he decides he thinks to what he's done. Maybe this was not the right thing to do. Because this was not the right thing to do. And he's turned off from the Shias. He's turned off from being Shia. The Shia of who? The Shia of Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil.
Which Imam? Which Imam? The Imam that has the hadith. The Imam says, Kunu du'atan lana. Invite people to us. Each and every one of us is a muballigh, we like it, we don't like it. Once we're attached and attributed to the Imam alayhi salatu wasalam, we become a muballigh of the Imam. We represent the Imam alayhi salatu wasalam. He says, Kunu du'atan lana. Call people to us. Tell people to come to us. But he puts a condition. You know what the condition is? He said, بِغَيْرِ أَلْسَنَتِكُمْ. Do not use your tongue. Invite people to us. But the restriction the Imam puts on, and he says, do not use your tongue. Now invite people to us. How does then one invite people to the Ahlul Bayt?
With your actions.
With your actions. With your behavior. With how you behave with people. The Imam says nothing will help you. Your salat in one place, that is huquq Allah. Your sawm, your fasting in another place. Your hajj, your zakat, your khums, all of those things in one place. But nothing will help you on the sirat like husn al-khulq. Like good akhlaq. Good behavior with people. If you do not, a very fundamental basic thing. You know why? You know why? If you were to understand, the idea is when you come and you sit at the feet of Imam Sadiq, you've already sorted these things out. You're already a good, mature human being. And now the Imam elevates you. The aql, the intellect that tells you to go sit with Imam Sadiq, you know why? Because a reflection on the saying of the Amir. The Amir says, I know the ways of the heavens. The ways of the heavens are more known to Ali ibn Abi Talib than the ways of this earth. It's not because he did not have knowledge of the ways of the earth. He's telling you, he says, these things you do on your own. Go sort these selves out on. Come to me when you're ready, so then you can fly with me. In a manner of speech. These things should already be sorted. Basic akhlaq, speaking to people, basic communication, how you behave with people. Nothing will help on the sirat like husn al-khulq does, like good etiquette does. Azizan, my dear brothers who's listening and the sisters upstairs, Life is very short. I don't feel that there's anyone in this room who has not experienced death of a loved one or someone they know. Some people die like Tasawwur Bhai's uncle passed away, with prayer Fatiha for him in the end, or Tahir Amin Bhai's mother passed away just last week. All the mu'mineen present here must have lost loved ones. Life is very unpredictable. Sometimes you hear news of people who are 80 years old, 90 years old. Sometimes you hear news of people who are 9 years old, 12 years old. There's no guarantees on who lives for how long they live.
Yeah.
And उर्दू का वो मुहावरा भी है, 4 दिन की जिंदगी है सबका. तो किस तरह से गुजारनी है जिंदगी? How do you then choose to continue this life? Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, Alhamdulillah الذي جعلنا من المتمسكين بولاية علي بن أبي طالب.
Subhanallah.
We're very blessed and we're very fortunate that we had a heads up or a jump start by having the love of Amir al-Mu'minin Ali ibn Abi Talib in our house. We're blessed. Sometimes we may take this blessing for granted. We may take this blessing for granted. We don't know what door we sit at. It is unfortunate. Someone sits at the door of for example, for the kids, so that it's taqwi's hand is closer to the mind. Somebody sits at the door of a very rich man and he's still a beggar. Somebody sits at the door of a very rich man and is still a beggar. What would the world call him? He says he's a foolish man. Either he does not know where he sits or he does not know who he is. He hasn't realized his faqr. He hasn't realized his poverty. He hasn't realized how much of a need he has, or he does not know where he sits. We're fortunate to have sat or to be placed at the door of who? Muhammad and al-Muhammad alayhi salatu. We're fortunate from that. And this is not a khitaba point, this is not a point of oratory skills where I defend or I have a bias to the school of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu. When you're a Muslim, find someone who's better than Ali ibn Abi Talib and then
Subhanallah.
find someone who can instruct man and teach man and elevate man and take man on the mi'raj that man has to become to or get to or arrive to. More so than it. Nothing will carry you. Nothing will carry you to the arsh of Allah as fast as the love of Hussein ibn Ali ibn Talib. Inna al-Hussein misbah al-huda wa sifan al-najat. These gems, we sat at these doors. So what do we take from them? That is why I chose this particular hadith. A very simple statement. It's a simple statement when it's written on paper. But when you attribute it to who is saying the lisan al-wahid, the one that does not speak unless it's commanded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to speak. And he only speaks what is revelation and revealed to him. Because his knowledge is not like knowledge that I do have. It's not knowledge that we have to pick up books and study and read. This is divine knowledge. This is ilm min ladun. This is ilm he has from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the one who reads the lawh. This is the one who knows the qalam. This is the one who knows the qada. This is the one who knows the mashiyah and understands the qadar. This is the Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam. Please let's look at it from another perspective. Of all these things, they say the Imam lived in this world for 65 years. One of the longest living Imams. And he was an Imam for around 34, 35 years. Again, the longest, if I'm using words so that kids can relate. In term in office, the longest living Imam in office is Imam Ja'far Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam. Every moment of this man in this world is precious. Every minute he spends, where he meets, he greets, he sits, he talks, he walks with people. Any act of socialization, where he socializes with people, any act, or when he's alone with his Lord, any act when he's with his family, this is very calculated. This is not a man like myself or yourself or my teacher or your teacher or a dean of a university or a marja' in Najaf al-Qum. This is an Imam al-Ma'asum. Every word he says has a purpose. His words are the words of the Quran. There's a zahir and there's a batin, and to each batin there's 70 other batins.
Subhanallah.
To each word there's a batin, and to every batin there's 70 other batins. And then you say, oh, it's a very simple thing the Imam says. Shake hands. give your hand to people, to shake their hands, it will remove animosity from your heart. Just the act of shaking people's hands will clean your heart. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. There's another riwayah I'd like to share. Please recite the salawat and I will present that. I know the riwayah and the mazmoon of it in English, but I was hoping that if I read the Arabic it would be better, inshallah. The Imam alayhi salatu wasalam says, Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam says, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil faraj. I wish I had more time to expound and explain on this particular riwayah, but it's a very necessary riwayah. For those parents who come for Salatul Maghrib have heard this riwayah. Those who haven't come for Salatul Maghrib can now hear this riwayah. For people who are concerned about their children, for the parents worried about their sons and their daughters, for the husbands worried about their wives, I won't go into detail of this. If someone is worried about their shahwa, some cannot control their shahwa, as in they cannot control their love for the opposite gender, they feel attracted to them, they feel afraid to fall into sin because of this particular shahwa. If someone feels or has a fear for the children, al-ayadu billahi min dhalik, to fall in the sin of zina, Imam alayhi salatu wasalam says, whoever recites Surah Nur, whoever is to recite Surah An-Nur from the Quran once every day, either the morning or the end, none of his family members will commit zina till he dies. No one from his family will commit or will be engaged or involved in the sin of zina till the person dies. What is the act? To recite Surah An-Nur. And this is something mujarrad. I know ulama who've done this and who said we found that the ladha of sin has been removed from our heart because of reciting the Surah. There's so much that the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu have to offer. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq to sit at the feet of the Ahlul Bayt alayhi salatu. This is only the social aspect of the life of Imam As-Sadiq alayhi salatu. The political atmosphere, his advice to different people, Ismail passing away in his life. And when the time came for the Imam alayhi salatu to pass away, Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu, the atmosphere created by the enemy of Allah, At-Tawaniqi, who wanted to kill the Imam or who poisoned the Imam alayhi salatu. Unfortunate circumstances. वक्त कम है, मगरिब का वक्त नज़दीक है, इस वक्त इतना ही कहा जा सकता है। इमाम जाफर सादिक अलैहिस्सलाम के हवाले से सवाल भेजता हूँ। मोहम्मद वाले मोहम्मद इतनी शदीद पाबंदी थी मौला के हवाले से, क्योंकि करबला का वाक़या हो चुका था। बनु उमैया गिर रही थी लानतुल्लाह अलैह। बनु अब्बास जो है हुकूमत चाह रहे थे। मुहासरा था इमाम के घर पे कि जब भी इमाम की आदत थी सज़ान मोहतरम, ख़ासतौर पर इमाम सादिक की, कि जब भी उनको पता चलता कि शहर में कोई शायर आया है, शहर मदीना में कोई शेर कहने वाला है, तो उसको घर पे ज़रूर बुलाते थे, उससे सवाल ही पूछते थे, मेरे दादा हुसैन की शान में कोई कसीदा लिखा है? अगर कोई नोहा लिखा हो तो हमें सुना। इस तरह से मस्जिदों का, मजलिसों का घर में इनेकाद करना इमाम जाफर सादिक ने बाकायदा इसकी बुनियाद रखी। शायर को बुलाते थे, बड़े एहतराम से उससे कहते थे, उनसे कहते थे कि इसके लिए विसादा बनाओ, इसको जगह दो, उसको गुंजाइश दो, ये बैठे आराम से रहे। फिर उससे यह सवाल पूछते थे कि मेरे जद की शान में कोई कसीदा, कोई नोहा लिखा हो तो सुनाओ। अब जब वो इमाम के सामने सुनाता था तो इमाम से कहते कि देखो इस तरह से नहीं सुनाओ, उस तरह से सुनाओ जैसे तुम अपने दोस्तों के सामने सुनाते हो। अगर गिरिया करके सुना तो गिरिया करके सुनाओ, देखो तुम हिचकिचाना नहीं, परेशान मत हो। اب جب شاعر، اب جب نوحہ پڑھنے والا، اب جب مرثیہ پڑھنے والا جب امام کی شان میں، مولا حسین کی شان میں مرثیہ پڑھتا ہے تو اس شدت کے ساتھ امام صادق علیہ السلام گریہ فرماتے کہ ان کی داڑھی آنسوؤں سے خیس ہو جاتی تھی. محاصرے کا عالم یہ تھا کہ ایک دفعہ دروازے پہ دستک ہوتی تھی اور مامورین جو منتظمین تھے، جو حکومت کے لوگ تھے، بغیر اجازت گھر کے اندر گھسے چلے آتے تھے اور یہ پوچھتے تھے کہ یہ رونا کیسا ہے، پوچھتے تھے کہ گھر میں رونا کیسا مچایا ہوا ہے، کیونکہ صرف مردوں کے رونے کی آواز نہیں آتی تھی، سادات کی، اہل بیت کے، اہل حرم کی آوازیں جو ہیں اتنی بلند ہوا کرتی تھی مصیبت امام حسین علیہ السلام کو سننے کے بعد کہ باہر سے فوج یا فوجی سپاہی گھر میں آ جایا کرتے تھے. امام صادق کا جواب پتہ ہے کہتے جو روایت میں اس وقت موجود ہے جو میں دیکھ کے آیا ہوں، کہتے تھے کہ وہ ایک چھوٹا بچہ تھا، وہ مر گیا ہے، اس کے مرنے پہ سب رو رہے ہیں. کس دن سے امام یہ بتائیں کہ یہ اتنا شدید ہے، وہ یہ نہیں کہہ سکتے کہ ہم اپنے جن حسین پہ رو رہے ہیں، لیکن ایک شیخار کو یاد کر کے یہ کہتے ہیں کہ یہ چھوٹا بچہ تھا، وہ مر گیا ہے، وہ سب کو یاد کر کے سب رو رہے ہیں. اتنی پابندی کے باوجود ہمارے امام نے، آپ کے امام نے بیٹھ کے گریہ فرمایا ہے اور اس کو فروغ دیا ہے. مجلس میں بیٹھ کے آپ رویا کرتے ہیں، اس کو کم مت سمجھیں. ایک شخص امام کے پاس آ کے کہتا ہے فضل تھا، میں نام ہی صحابی گیا تو اسے امام پوچھتے ہیں کل رات کہاں تھے؟ کہا مولا وہ کل رات موقع ملا، کچھ ہم 5-6 شیعہ 7-8 شیعہ اکٹھا ہوئے، ہمیں موقع ملا، ہم نے کہا آج مناسبت اچھی ہے، تھوڑا گریہ کر لیتے ہیں، تھوڑا رو لیتے ہیں، مجلس حسین برپا ہو جائے. ہم سب رونا شروع، ہم نے سب نے گریہ کیا اور جب دیکھا کہ ماحول محفوظ ہے، ہم گھروں سے نکل سکتے ہیں، ہمیں پابندی نہیں، پکڑا نہیں جائے گا، تو ہم گھر سے نکلے. پھر ہم سب اپنے راستے چلے گئے. تو امام نے کہا جب تم نے گھر سے نکلے تو تم نے متوجہ ہوئے کہ دروازے پہ کوئی شخص بیٹھا تھا، اندھیرا تھا، ہم پہچان نہیں سکے، لیکن ہاں بات صحیح کہہ رہے ہیں، وہاں بیٹھا تھا. کہ وہ میں تمہارا امام مجھے پتا چلا کہ میرے جب کی مجلس ہو رہی، میں دروازے پہ بیٹھا، مولا آپ ہمارے ساتھ کا تاج ہے، آپ دروازے پہ کیوں بیٹھے، آپ اندر تشریف کیوں نہیں لے کے آئے؟ جملہ سنو کہ انتظار ہم اترا کہ یہ میری ماں زہرا کو پتہ چلا کہ کچھ مومنی تھا، میرے دادا حسین کو روئیں گے، میری ماں مجلس میں موجود تھی، تو میں نے وہاں نہیں بیٹھا تھا، میری ماں بیٹھی تھی، میں دروازے پہ عالم الذین ظلموا ای منقلب ينقلبون انا لله وانا الیہ راجعون. مات حسین.